This time we arrive at a place we know well, the end of the fjord. A quay built for loading ships onto the rocks from a nearby quay. A small Soviet bulk carrier sank off this quay in 1973. The ship's likely name was Karina. As I learned from an older gentleman who, as a youth, saw the half-sunken vessel. The ship grounded in shallow water just off the quay, and the Soviet Union had no interest in recovering the small vessel. The sailors were sent home, and the ship was cut up. The hull was split in two, and most of it rests between 2 and 18 meters deep, with the stern at 35 meters. Today, only remnants remain, resembling a ship but providing shelter from marine life. It is precisely for this reason that I am revisiting this place with my camera, searching for interesting species. For this dive, we prepared nitrox 32 and Daco 50. The estimated dive time is 70 to 80 minutes. We checked the equipment, and when everything was ready, we immediately headed aft to 35 meters. The first to catch the eye is a beautiful, intensely red Actinia equina anemone. Here, a solitary specimen. These anemones are members of the Hexacorellia genus, whose bodies are composed of muscles and tentacles containing stinging cells used for both defense and food capture. This is not the only individual of this species encountered during this dive. We continue along the former side of the ship, now covered in a thick layer of rust and used as a home for sea creatures. I pass a lot of fish, but I'm looking for something particularly interesting. I'm now at 35 meters, slowly swimming along the former side of the ship, right at the bottom. I've encountered an interesting species of fish here a few times before, so maybe I'll be able to show it to you today. And suddenly I see her behind a bent piece of undergrowth, perfectly matching her camouflage. The lumpfish, Latin name Cyclopterus lumpus, is a fish from the Scorpioniformes genus. Its distinctive, bulging shape and pronounced backbone are eye-catching. This fish reaches a size of up to 60 centimeters. During breeding, the male has an orange belly and brown back, and after the female has laid her eggs in coastal waters, he cares for them. These fish lack scales. The modified pectoral fin can serve as a sucker. During winter, these fish dive deeper to about 400 meters and have been recorded at depths as low as 4,000 meters. We leave the lumpfish alone. We won't disturb it any further. Meanwhile, as we slowly move to the other part of the wreck, we'll take a look at some interesting species. Along the way, I encounter several more beautiful, colorful anemones, which draw me in with my camera. I also managed to film this beautiful red specimen grabbing a comb jellyfish. Incredibly, this calm, slow landscape is actually a constant battlefield, a fight for territory and the will to survive. Sea urchins, very common in this area, have a 5-armed structure with double rows of ambulacral legs. Various species vary in size but are primarily spherical. Here, they average between 10 and 20 centimeters. The spines can vary in length depending on the species, and in some species they can be poisonous, even toxic to humans. Occasionally, allergic reactions can cause death by suffocation. They live on all types of seabeds and can even burrow into rocks, and are found from the littoral to the deepest waters of seas and oceans. They are known in fossil records since the Paleozoic. Meanwhile, we reach the second part of the wreck. Much of the hull remains lie at a depth of 19 to 4 meters. The heavily corroded structure has collapsed over the years. But the hull still resembles a ship. We are now in the littoral zone, where life is most diverse. The area around the wreck is an excellent place for observation, with animals eagerly seeking shelter in the old ship's shell. Here, the most visible in the water are the comb jellies. It's time to dim the light and take a closer look at these fascinating creatures. These are clamless creatures with elongated bodies with biradial symmetry. Their characteristic feature is 8 bands of ribs running along their length. They are usually colorless and reach sizes ranging from a few to several centimeters. But the comb jellies of the genus Cestum can measure up to 1.5 meters. These animals are predators that typically capture plankton using coloblasts arranged in comb-like clusters. These animals are also characterized by the ability to bioluminesce. Let's look at this amazing spectacle for a moment. Meanwhile, at the bottom, the scallop had opened its shell and begun its lazy hunting style. Lying down, its many pairs of eyes searching for enemies and its arms scanning the water for plankton. These mollusks are abundant from northern Norway, along the eastern Atlantic coast, to northern Africa, recognized culinary as seafood. Their flesh is high in iron, and their shell was immortalized in the painting The Birth of Venus. A little further on a rock, among the lichens, a starfish walks slowly, but this is not an ordinary stroll. It is a walk in constant search of food. These animals are predators with a slow lifestyle, a distinct star-shaped body, and a huge variety of colors and sizes. They inhabit all types of substrates and navigate any surface. Almost all starfish have dioecious sexes. External fertilization occurs through the release of millions of eggs and sperm, and fertilized eggs develop into larvae. This larva develops into a tiny starfish. Unable to survive on the bottom, It feeds on tiny plankton in the ocean. However, when it grows, it sinks to the bottom like a parachutist and detaches itself from its polyp. It takes the form of a stonewort, grows, and begins its life on the bottom. They move using their ambulacular legs, which travel at a speed of about 5 to 15 centimeters per minute, and they use them to recognize and capture prey. In Norwegian waters, at least several species can be encountered during a single dive, some reaching arm spans exceeding 40 centimeters. Meanwhile, we head towards the surface. But before we emerge, we encounter jellyfish in the depths. The first thing that caught our eye was the Cyanea capillata, which can grow up to 2 meters in length, weigh 1 ton, and have stinging tendrils that can reach 30 meters in length. Although its bites aren't fatal to humans, they're not exactly the most pleasant experience. Nearby, another specimen, slightly injured in a clash with another predator. Caught our eye, a moment more to admire its majestic movements. And we moved on to the next species. Korea Victoria, crystal jellyfish, reaches sizes of 10 to 20 centimeters and occurs at depths from the surface to approximately 1,000 meters. Its body consists of approximately 100 radial canals extending from the stomach to the edges, each tipped with over 150 stinging tentacles that capture small prey but are harmless to humans. In 2008, Osamu Shimomura, Martin Chalfie, and Roger Young-Hien, 10, received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their discovery of the green fluorescent protein GFP in this jellyfish, an important tool in biological research. One site, 2 dives, and so many fascinating species. It's enough to stop for a moment to see how life copes with each environment and adapts to its potential. It's almost unimaginable how much is happening beneath this calm surface at the end of the fjord.